This is the Tom and Jerry movie.
Paranoia, paranoia, everybody's coming to get me.
There was just, at that moment, I think you just said, welcome to the mindfuck, and we both started singing that song.
Yeah. No, that's...
I still love that song.
I
That's
remember
song.
we were watching it, and like, sometimes when you watch things during an NC, you
just crack.
You have moments of strange sobriety, where you snap out of the trance the movie has put you in, and you suddenly have a split second where you're like, what the fuck am I looking at? What am I seeing here? And it was the most bizarre collection of things. It was this chase with an ice cream truck.
A guy with a puppet.
A guy with a puppet, like, the puppet's like, woo!
A dog on a skateboard.
Yeah.
A fat dog on a skateboard.
In the countryside, like, through a farm, Tom and Jerry.
With this little girl whose father is Indiana Jones.
Yeah, a little girl.
The Tom Selleck Indiana Jones.
Yeah, the Tom Selleck Indiana Jones. I just remember I turned to you and I'm like, Doug, welcome to the mindfuck. I'm like, this is just a mindfuck. This is the craziest at that point in doing the NCs, that was probably the craziest thing I had ever seen. Now, Cat in the Hat had not come out yet. But that was the craziest thing I had ever seen. I think I just told you, it was like, we need to play that Paranoia song and then just, like, put all of this together, because,
yeah, it was just madness. It was pure madness.
It was probably the best thing to come out of that movie.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, as horrible as this movie, I actually have fond memories of watching this movie. Because I think it was so batshit insane, and it was so bright and colorful, and it was so obviously not Tom and Jerry that we didn't even compare it. At first we were comparing it, but then just like the film, it gave up
15
on that.
minutes, yeah. 15 minutes into it, it gave up altogether, and I just remember we weren't even looking at it as a Tom and Jerry movie, we were just looking at it as a mindfuck. And as a mindfuck, it was not only really fun to watch, but it's still one of my favorite reviews.
Yeah, it's, you know, and remember, you ever see that Coyote cartoon where he tries so hard to get the Roadrunner, and the Roadrunner just keeps going boop, boop, beep, beep, and running off, and finally at the end, he, like, the last one just blows up, and he goes through all this shit, and he just stands up, totally, you know, he's, like, all ash and black and stuff, and he just goes boop, beep, beep, and falls down. That's what I felt like with this movie. I'm just like, I'm just gonna accept it. I'm just, you know, I'm crazy. You wanna sing another song? Oh, okay. Oh, your dad's Indiana Jones? Oh, okay.
It's
Guy
like
has a puppet? Oh, okay.
You can either break down and cry, or if you can't beat them, join them. Like,
yeah, and it really was kind of that.
That was a movie where... Cat in the Hat, I broke down and cried and strangled you. But this one, if you can't beat them, join them, and, like, I had a lot of fun.
It was just clearly a movie that was not meant to be Tom and Jerry by any means. They just wrote this other film and said, well, we're not doing that, but we want a Tom and Jerry movie. Oh, well, that's exactly what this is. Didn't I tell you it starts off with Tom and Jerry?
It's like a Three Stooges plot, like, crumbled together with every other Disney movie. It's like, stop us if you've heard this. A little girl who is an orphan whose parents are missing gets stuck with an evil, step-uncle or step-aunt or mother. Yeah, and it's up to the cute cartoon animals to save her and help her find her. It literally, like, it went through some sort of, like, automatic script generator. It's like you throw a bunch of Disney ideas into, like, one crank and then just like, and then this movie's like...
Fucking worst dad ever, by the way. What a fucking deadbeat. I mean, it's like just off doing something.
You do not talk about Indiana Jones that way!
Tom Selleck Indiana Jones would be very angry. And just when they give him the hat and it's like, what are you doing? It's so insane. And that's, yeah, you just got
The funny thing is, when I remember that scene where she saves him with the helicopter, I remember it now because of the review with the Indiana Jones music. Like I said, it was running, the ending to that film was running on Cartoon Network or something about a year and a half ago, and I'm just like, alright, I'll watch a few minutes of this, because, like, this movie was just such a what the fuck. And I saw that scene, and I'm like, where's the Indiana Jones music? I'm like, oh yeah, that actually didn't happen. We put that in.
Shock! Start the play! You know, and it's one of those where I remember back seeing the preview for this, and... You know, I really liked Tom and Jerry as a kid. You know, I'm getting into whatever, fucking X-Men and Batman and stuff like that, and I just see this Tom and Jerry. Well, I remember Tom and Jerry, and this is about just kids' film. Nobody tried with kids' films. I mean, nobody fucking made an attempt. And you just see Tom and Jerry the movie, and you see Tom come through this little hole, and Jerry go, oh no! And it's like, you know, okay, and you see a little bit of violence. So that was the one commercial they showed, is just the violence. You know, so really only the first 2 minutes they showed that. And then they would show these other commercials where they're singing and dancing. Here's this little girl running around something. Here's this fat dog on a skateboard, and it's like, we have to get her to get the money. And then every once in a while they're like, oh, and Tom and Jerry's in this too. Anyway, go see the movie. And it was that the same commercial I saw? There were these two. Did they make a sequel already and just get rid of the main characters?
But Doug, we've got to have money.
I feel bad I didn't make more of that joke than I did when I saw it. It was already everywhere, so I'm like, okay, I won't.
Whenever I post
address
something
it
on my
much.
public Facebook about something dumb Hollywood did, as there's always somebody who posts that one
We
clip.
gotta have money, yeah.
But Rob, don't you know? This is how they think. It's like, we've got to have money.
You know, I'll say this too, because one of the few things I got flack on in this movie, I mean, God, there's actually something to defend this film, is the songs. And I really think that's only because of the guy who wrote them. I'm blanking on his name, but he's the guy that he did Pink Panther, right?
Oh, Mancini.
Yeah, Mancini. He did the songs for this. They're so awful. And I
Hey,
acknowledge
sir,
that guy.
he also did The Great Mouse Detective. How dare you?
No, I actually love the music and the songs of Great Mouse Detective. I think they're wonderful. And I'm not at all saying this guy's not talented, but these are awful.
I think, if I'm not mistaken... Christ, somebody would correct me if I even say it. I'm just scared to. I think he did The Great Race.
Boy, it sounds right. I don't know.
That's one of our favorite comedies.
You know what?
Point being,
you
why
know
you
what?
gotta pick on Mancini, sir?
No, you know what? Prove us wrong, because then you have to go see The Great Race, which is a phenomenal
Yeah, you know what,
movie.
yeah.
So go prove us wrong.
So go watch that movie and report
we
back.
tricked you. But yeah, no. So I have nothing against this guy as a musician. I just hate these songs. These are.
I'm just gonna say it up front. I don't even remember the songs.
The only one I remember because I had to.
Can't.
No, when you edit,
I remember
these and
the
you
songs
have
of
to,
The Great Race. I remember songs of Great Mouse Detective. I cannot, for the life, if you put a gun to my head right now and said, hum one song from that Tom and Jerry movie, I couldn't do it. I'd be dead.
The only one I can do, because I had to edit it so many times, is the "We two are friends to the end, ain't it, my friend?" Because I had to edit that over me crying over and over, and I had to get that right, so I heard that song over and over. But yeah, you fucking tell me that's a good song. The song that killed Tom and Jerry. It wasn't the train, it was that song that killed Tom and Jerry. You just don't tell me that that's a good song.
Why break the #1 rule of Tom and Jerry?
I think it's very clear they said make a film, and they didn't know how to do a Tom and Jerry movie, which I'm not gonna lie.
Who would?
Nobody's done it right yet. Even ones that do it right. I mean, there's like these little straight to DVD things and stuff like that, and they're like Tom and Jerry with the fucking Wizard of Oz or something like that. And it's just them. It's pretty much just them watching the Wizard of Oz. If you just take like a drawing of Tom and Jerry, put it in the corner of watching the Wizard of Oz, I think that's the movie. Well, what I've seen, I haven't seen the whole thing, but what I've seen, I'm like, I think this is just them watching the movie.
There aren't many rules to Tom and Jerry. There's basically 2. They always fight. They always fight. Did you get that?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
I'm with you.
Getting complicated
stuff.
They always fight. And they don't talk.
No, you know what?
They don't talk.
I'll give you the fighting for a minute. But they have to talk. Because I am not smart enough to know how to tell a film where the two characters don't talk, even though that used to be cinema for years. It used to be silent film.
But my point is that there were only 2 rules. And they broke both of them! Both of them! Only 2 rules you had, and you broke both. They work together. They're kind of friendly, throughout at least 3/4 of this film. And they fucking talk!
And I just love how at the end, for whatever reason, they start chasing each other again. Then they freeze on the image like, this is the movie you saw. You saw the movie where they were chasing each other. Even a fucking 2-year-old would be like, how fucking stupid do you think I am?
So yeah, the only 2 things, and they couldn't even do that. And I'm like, if you can't even follow the most simple, I would have given them credit if they followed 1 out of the 2 rules. Just 1. But you couldn't even...
They got that they're a cat and a mouse, at least.
I'm not so sure. I think they thought that Jerry was a guinea pig. They
thought he was
probably needed instructions on that.
Maybe they thought he was a puppy. That's why they cast the voice of Max from Goof Troop. I
You know what kills me too? And I have nothing against the voice actors themselves. They're very good voice actors. Just not how I imagine those voices.
I was actually going to say the exact opposite. I was going to say if they talked, like not the traditional, whatever, I forget, Hanna-Barbera who did the voice, but, not that voice. Like, hey, if I was to listen to them, they were going to talk, what would they sound like? I would actually imagine that. I thought those were okay choices.
You and me now can never be friends.
No, I actually, not that they were funny, but, because the funny is the way Tom yells, "Wah!"
Again, I'm not going to blame
yells.
voice actors for doing their job. It's not their fault. But somebody in casting, I think, is just not how I imagine it.
No, because Jerry, even though he's male, he has both sort of these male and female. He's got these big eyelashes. And
I
he's
just
really
kept
cute
seeing Max from Goof Troop. Like,
well, but that's a woman doing a boy voice, in both cases. So I thought that was actually an okay choice. And yeah, you want Tom to be like, a little smarmy and a little bit of like, sort of a swindler and stuff. So yeah, so I think that voice, the guy from Spin City.
I wanted Jerry to have the voice of John Leguizamo and Tom to have the voice of Christopher Walken. That I think was
Jerry. Don't you believe it?
We have to help this little girl. Why am I doing it? I thought I was gonna fight with you, but you know what? She looks so sad. We gotta do something.
No, the funny thing too, the clarification that this movie was going to be awful. I mean, aside from the trailers.
Oh, this fucking movie!
Aside from the trailers, I remember I was walking through a bookstore and they had like a little kids magazine section. I don't know if those are still around, but everything had a magazine. Garfield had a magazine. There was Nintendo Power. Looney Tunes had a magazine, and they had these movie magazines about just. For a movie, like, hey, here's the DuckTales the movie magazine. You can put stickers in there. You can do whatever activities, and they give away the film pretty much. They just show the whole film. So I just picked this up. I'm just like, let me just see, and I flipped through, and I'm like, this looks horrendous.
Oh my God, she kills them! She kills them all!
That'd be interesting. That at least would have been like, well, I didn't expect that.
Honestly, it's the inexplicability of the movie is one of its saving graces, and of course the great Tony J. Money.
Even when he's phoning it in, it's it's still so awesome.
He could read the phone book and it would sound great. I'm trying to think if there's anything else you could say about this movie.
Well, what do you think? What do you think of the animation? I'm afraid to call Warner Brothers because we fucked up with Swan Princess. Everyone's like, "You son of a bitch!"
Oh no, the best thing about
they took it over later, or did they?
The best thing about it, I'm like, all right, I'll look it up. Like one of them, it was like Wikipedia had it as a Warner Brothers film. IMDb didn't. And then, so I just posted about it on my Facebook, and I'm just like, I posted an image of, the Joker breaking the pool cue in half. I'm like, make it quick. You guys argue it out. One side says one thing, the other says the other. I've got other sides that are just like, well, it wasn't owned by Warner Brothers at the time, but technically Warner Brothers bought out New Line Cinema, and then now it's part of the Time Warner Company. I'm just like, you know what? You guys argue it out because
I'm going to assume
Swan Princess.
I'm going to assume there's more important things to talk about. So you guys,
unless you actually worked on Swan Princess yourself, I'm not sure anybody cares.
I think I got that
because
imagine when I go to the video store, I had to go through the kids section a lot because we had to review a lot of kids movies, and there's all these Swan Princess movies, and they all had the Warner Bros. Logo, except the first one. So Warner Bros. Didn't do the first one, so I think that's where I made the assumption. But
the only way you should be offended is if you're at Warner Bros. Like, no, even we didn't make Swan Princess. I get that.
We're not claiming that shit. We bought the sequels. Because, little money, little extra whatever, but we did not make that shit. But the animation, it's fine if it wasn't Tom and Jerry.
Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb. I don't know who made the Tom and Jerry movie because it's not really that important to me. I'm just going to warn you now, Internet, that in the grand scheme of things that I need to know to get on in life, who made Tom and Jerry... The movie is not one of them.
I don't know how many people will be jumping to claim that either.
If I were going to guess, the original Tom and Jerry was MGM. So I would think that somehow MGM would be.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because they did it before, so maybe it was MGM.
but I don't remember because it wasn't a good movie.
Okay,
so
here's the thing.
That would be the assumption I would make.
Here's the thing: if it was MGM, then they have the background for Tom and Jerry, even though they made some pretty bad ones later. I'm not even talking about the Chuck Jones. I'm talking about the ones where they look like stick figures. If it's Warner Brothers, clearly they have years and years of slapstick. Neither of those could make the slapstick work in this. But it's colorful, it's bright, it's nice line work and stuff, but it's just clearly not funny,
It looked, you know what it reminded me of? It looked similar in some ways to the animation in something like We're Back, A Dinosaur Story.
Yeah.
That bright, colorful look. It was animated fine, but I can't say anything else about it, but just, it was fine.
Yeah.
It's not sticking out. It's not going to be like, oh, it's like a good Disney cartoon. I can't even say it was like a really good Tom and Jerry cartoon. Like a good Tom and Jerry cartoon, the slapstick is really hilarious. I only thought the slapstick was animated in such a way that I was like, it was alright.
I don't remember laughing once at the slaps. I remember laughing at the absurdity of what was going on, but never more the absurdity that I think we're supposed to take this seriously, or whatever, but never at the actual slapstick. And I was thinking to myself, how would you do a Tom and Jerry movie? Well, I hear they're going to in CG or whatever.
Honestly, well, step one, don't. But if we've decided to ignore step one, just like we ignored don't talk and fight.
But here's the thing, it'd be very tricky to do. I'm not going to act like it wouldn't be. But I'm also thinking of, having seen Mad Max. And it's like, here's a movie that's 80% violence, 80% chasing. And, it worked, and it pushed it to sort of this
new level. You want to know how I would do it? This is going to sound insane.
It happened.
You want to know how I would do it? And this is going to sound insane, but you would almost have to do it like something like Baby's Day Out, where it's a simple concept, and I hated that movie, by the way, so I'm not saying I'm supporting another Baby's Day Out, but the concept of a simple idea, the baby wanders out. In this case, the cat and mouse fight. And you somehow drag it outside and make it more epic than it really is, getting wrapped up in another story, but not like what they do, where it's just like, well, we're just going to insert them in The Wizard of Oz, or we're going to have them help some orphan girl find her dad. If those things happen, they happen by accident. They don't happen because they're making a conscious effort to help people. It should be like they're having this constant fight and getting wrapped up in other stories that all resolve themselves pretty much because of their fight. I would find, like Mr. Bean. Like the way Mr. Bean wanders around and you can see there's these other stories going on that have...
Well, even that they kind of fucked up the movie for that, too.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about the movie, I'm just talking about the show.
No, that's sort of what... That's what I was thinking, that it's...
And that was the same problem as the Tom and Jerry movie. It's like, well, Mr. Bean has to deal with his consequences and help these people. I want to see that! Who wants to see that?
It's one of those where it's like, I could see it being done like just unapologetic, pushing it all the way, like you said, just starting in one spot, just the chase goes... And they just go through whatever, outside, on top of buildings and stuff, and it's almost like they never rest. Just, you know what? I know that's not how movies work. I know you're supposed to care about character. I know it's supposed to be like these, and probably a lot of people are gonna hate it, but you know what? We're gonna do it to the fullest of our...
I think you should rest within the same way Mad Max Fury Road rests, where it's like, here's 5 minutes of silence just to remind you what it sounds like.
And then just go right back. Have it be like a rush. I mean, and nobody would do that back then. Nobody would dare, especially on a kids film, nobody would risk that at all. But at the same time, it's like, if it was to be done, that's like, I'm not saying that is the only way, there could be another way, but that's the one that came to my head, where it's like, you just have to go balls to the wall, in your face, like a rush, just an adrenaline rush, and just make it like this fucking roller coaster, crazy, and like you said, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then maybe somehow they get their way back home, and they're just like breathing heavily, and maybe they just like, shake hands, truce, and they collapse, and like, that'd be the movie, and nobody could say that wasn't a Tom and Jerry movie. I mean, everyone can point at the Tom and Jerry movie and say that's not Tom and Jerry, but and even like the Wizard of Oz, or like these mysteries or whatever they're doing, I still look at them like I've never seen one all the way through. I've seen clips and bits and pieces and stuff. But like even when I watch, I'm like, well, okay, they're acting like Tom and Jerry, but they're not. This is clearly not the environment for Tom and Jerry.
It gets very Scooby-Doo. It's like, Scooby and the gang meet the Harlem Globetrotters. Tom and Jerry meet the Wizard of Oz. Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein and the Scooby-Doo gang and Tom and Jerry. Like, it just... No.
I mean, so it's... At least with, like, the Wizard of Oz and stuff, I understand why they're going that route, because it's like, hey, you're introducing him to you have whatever the MGM and stuff like that. So I'm sure.
Well, you have your property, you have your rights, you have your story. You don't really need a new story. You can just retell the story and insert your characters into it, so you don't have to worry about what to do with them.
Yeah, and it's like just you don't know. Yeah. It's hard to figure out what to do with them. I'm not gonna have to
and I'm not gonna say that that's a good idea, but that idea at least, from a certain perspective, makes a lot more sense than what they did with this movie, where it's like, we're going to create a whole new story involving orphans and getting
at least stuck to the two rules. They don't talk,
yeah.
they don't talk, and they chase each other, at the very least. So, yeah, even if, like, whatever, they're, like, caught with, like, the scarecrow and everybody, and they're just skipping along with them. It's like, that happens in other Tom and Jerry cartoons where they'll kind of get distracted. In the Tom and Jerry movie, they officially say, we're done! We are never fighting again! We will always be buddies! We will, and it's, I feel dirty! Dirty just thinking about it. But no, honestly, out of all the films that we've watched, like I said, my memories of this are actually not, like, mean, hate-filled memory. I don't like what they did, but it was so crazy and so bizarre.
In a strange way, I feel the same way. I don't like this movie, but it's entertaining to watch almost in a room sort of way.
Yeah.
It's almost like a Tommy Wiseau kind of project. It's just like, it's so far removed from Tom and Jerry that you're just like, okay, you can't even say, like, Neverending Story 3 pissed me off more than this ever did. So it's just so far removes itself that I can't even say you're not even shitting on Tom and Jerry, because it's not even Tom and Jerry anymore.
Yeah.
And it is so batshit crazy, and just what the hell were you thinking? It's like watching somebody completely stoned relate to you a story about a talking mouse and cat.
I think there's also something too, you just clearly know going in, like, these people are not going to get it. There's no way for them to get it. So you're not even that, like, when Christopher Nolan does something like Dark Knight Rises or something, it's like, no, you did Dark Knight right, and how did this happen? With something like this, you just know, they're not going to get this. They're not going to capture Tom and Jerry and how they are and stuff, so you just sort of shrug and go, okay, whatever.
Well, that's the other difference. The Neverending Story 3, like, we had a progression of films that at least were within 15, 20 years of each other. Whereas Tom and Jerry, it's like, okay, we hadn't had a Tom and Jerry movie.
Yeah.
Ever. The cartoons had just been running in syndication. Like, the original cartoons, they hadn't made new ones in well over, like, 20 years or something. So at least it just felt so far removed that I can just be like, you know what, whatever, doesn't exist.
Yeah. So, but, yeah, there it is. Both a little more and a little less hate than I think people would probably expect. You're going really dark
and stormy clouds outside. Apparently God has a thing for this movie.
The automatic exposure always goes, like, either super bright or super dark, so I try to set it right, and then we just got a stormy day.
We talk about Tom and Jerry, and then the storm clouds.
Yeah, no, it's just like, that's what happens, man.
It is
talk about the Tom and Jerry movie.
It is like black outside.
Yeah, it's black in here. Dark red, at least. So,
I knew we should have done a different movie. Anything else?
We two are friends to the end, ain't we, my friend? How come you never talked before? Because we have better writers.